I know there is one forensic pathologist who I believe said that basically any individual can be an organ and tissue donor. I think it depends upon the coordination involved. I know that a lot of places will do everything in their power to allow for organs are like gold. They are. So we will do everything in our power to help allow for organ recovery. I've learned that tissue recovery should almost be viewed the same way, that there are relatively few donors there too. And I think, in my opinion, that if you have good coordination, that it doesn't matter the cause of death or the manner of death, you could allow for both organ and tissue. Depending upon the nature of the death, it may require very close cooperation, allowing the medical examiner to do a full external examination before, potentially being present during the tissue recovery, organ recovery if necessary. But I think actually organ and tissue recovery, especially tissue recovery, they're looking at something that normally we don't look at, the muscles, the bones and that, and actually they could potentially contribute to the investigation by performing an even more thorough examination than we would perform. I know that I've been assisted on at least one case I can remember by something that was found by tissue recovery. So I think if it's done carefully, no manner of death has to rule out either organ or tissue donation. As long as we have the ability to document externally what's there before recovery undergoes, and then the other thing is if something's found incidentally, like blood in a cavity, for it to be recorded, for pictures to be taken, for it to be documented. Because as long as that's done carefully and thoroughly, there should be no reason why both cannot occur. I looked in PubMed, which is the database of journal articles, and I found that they had done a study where they had looked at tissue recovery pre-autopsy and tissue recovery post-autopsy, and the number of graft infections increased by almost 50%. So if I have a chance to look at the body first, I can do my external exam, draw blood, and I'll oftentimes draw blood for the tissue recovery team too. Don't draw vitreous. Then the body can be taken away, tissue recovery can occur, it can be brought back, and I can do the autopsy if I need to that night, the next day. And I mean, I don't mind if if the family really wants the body back and I need to do the autopsy that night. To me, it's worth it because it's I'm decreasing the risk of infected grafts by half, and it's not that tough on me to just do the autopsy at a later time. But I think that's the least I can do to help assist in that process. For the most part, most people do see the great value that is, especially with organs and even so with tissue, that it has to save and enhance lives. And I really believe that people are working forward and want to cooperate with that process as long as the same thing is done in reverse. I didn't realize how many tissue donors came from our population. I used to think, well, who really cares if they don't get this donor? And then when I learned, being on the medical examiner coroner committee for the Musculoskeletal Tissue Foundation, one of the first presentations we had, and they talked about, and they said like 40 to 60% of tissue donors come from us. And I thought about it, well, wait, that makes sense because we deal with usually a younger population and stuff. And so I was very much surprised, but it made me realize, oh wait, every donor does count. So what can we do to facilitate this?